President Joe Biden invited former President Donald Trump to cooperate in lobbying Congress on an immigration bill when both men arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. NBC News reported that Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump went to the U.S.-Mexico border, through Texas, on February 29. Mr. Biden's meeting with border officials began just minutes after Mr. Trump spoke at Eagle Pass. The U.S. leader thanked the forces in charge of the border and pledged to provide them with more resources. Action was needed a long time ago. Border control needs more resources, Mr. Biden said. The U.S. president also directly called on Mr. Trump to ask Congress to pass the immigration bill. The bill was stymied after Mr. Trump rallied his allies in Congress to fight it. "You and I both know this is the toughest, most effective border security bill this country has ever seen. So instead of playing politics with this issue, why don't we work together to solve it? Solve the problem?" Mr. Biden proposed. Praising the bipartisan border bill as a victory for the American people, Mr. Biden also called it a truly bipartisan initiative. He called on the Senate to reconsider the bill, asking senators to put politics aside and asking House Speaker Mike Johnson to bring the bill up for discussion. Mr. Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, responded to Mr. Biden's call. Instead of blaming everyone but himself, President Joe Biden should take responsibility for the border crisis. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump told reporters in Texas on a visit to the border, "Nice weather. Beautiful day. But the border is very dangerous. We will solve that problem." Mr. Biden's visit this time is to Brownsville, a border town in the Rio Grande Valley, which has long been greatly affected by the wave of migration. Some people believe that Mr. Biden visited Brownsville at a time when the consequences of the influx of migrants had shifted elsewhere. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, more migrants are now crossing other parts of the border, such as Arizona and Eagle Pass. The Republican Party has emphasized that border policies under Mr. Trump have prevented illegal immigration and ensured U.S. border security. The rate of illegal border crossings was lower during most of Trump's term but began to increase in late 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic. Previously, even Mr. Trump supported a controversial tough immigration policy known as zero tolerance that led to the forced separation of migrant families at the border in 2017. When Mr. Biden took office in 2021, he vowed to return to more humane immigration rules and immediately signed executive orders rescinding several Trump-era policies. In 2022, the Biden administration also ended a so-called Remain in Mexico rule that required asylum seekers to wait across the border while their claims were reviewed.